Seriously?
Well, this is it. A silence intro of Behind the Scanner. Welcome, agents. um, well, this is another edition of Behind the Scanner. I'm so glad to have you here again. And, well, I don't want to waste any more time of you. So, welcome our guest, Thilanka Niroshana. I hope that was okay. He's a resistant agent, and unfortunately, our enlightened agent doesn't appear anywhere. So, well, we are going to have a fun show tonight. So, well, hello, Frank.
Hey, what's going on, George?
Nothing.
How's Mexico?
Oh, it's really cold, man. It's
Hey, you know what? I gotta say, I like your banner. That is cool.
Oh yeah, it's a present from the Kraken team
Right?
From the Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I need to get in with the Netherlands team because I actually know the Netherlands guys. I should see if I can get my hands on one of those. That is awesome.
Yeah, I sent you the link for the community.
Awesome. So what do we have tonight?
So well, what do we have here? Let me see because the outline is okay. Well, we always interview players all around the world, and well, this is time for Sri Lanka. So, hello, Sri Lanka. That's a little bit like weird. What's the meaning of your name? It has to do something with your country?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted?
Muted. There you go.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
We can now.
Okay. It's just a name here we use in Sri Lanka. It means it's like a sport, something like that.
Okay. Wow. So let's go really into the interview. How would you describe the game environment in your country?
It's I would say it's good for a country. I mean, for a country like Sri Lanka, because our country has a lot of beautiful locations and sights to see, and the civil war has entered in here, and people can wander around each and every corner of the island freely now, and see the places that they couldn't go to because of the conflict. And Sri Lanka is a peaceful country now, and everyone is welcome.
Great.
Cool. So Thilanka, you've been playing for a while. I'm looking here, and it says that you've been playing since 2013. Were there many portals before?
Yeah. No, no. There weren't much portals for us to play with when the game was launched. Uh, there were some portals that were put by Niantic, which were taken from the Panoramio website, and but there was also a handful and spread around the country. But soon a community was founded in G+, and myself and Kulendra Janaka, who was taking the lead of Enlightened back in the day, encouraged the players at the time to submit every portal candidate they see.
Wow.
Back then it had less restrictions. Although I did submit more than 500 portals, it was the players as a community who changed the landscape by their submissions. Maybe I was an encouragement for them to submit more portals.
Absolutely. So how many portals would you say Sri Lanka has now?
I think around 8,000, more than 8,000 portals.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. How did you find about the game?
From a friend. I saw him playing with another guy, so I decided to ask for a beta invitation from theingress.com. That's how I found out about the game.
So I'm just curious, what were your first impressions when you first opened the game and started checking it out? Because you were, I mean, we're talking almost 3 years ago. The Ingress was quite a bit different back then. The tutorials definitely weren't as good as they are now.
Yeah. It was like something something that I've never seen. I always traveled a lot around my hometown, even before Ingress. And after this, it became like a routine thing, because you have to visit the portals, once a week, because I was the only player in here, and you had to wait a week to decay for the decay to happen. So it was a new experience, and I knew this was going to be a new phenomenon. I mean, nobody has seen something like this.
Would you say that you were hooked right away, or did it take you some time to kind of warm up to it and figure it out?
No, I was hooked right away, because as soon as I got the invitation, I went out in my vehicle. I mean, there were no portals, only XM were to be found.
Yeah.
So I got onto my vehicle and wandered around to see even a tiny bit of XM, but I couldn't find any.
I know the feeling, trust me. Even in these more populated cities like where I live, 3 years ago, even then portals were pretty scarce, so I can only imagine what it must have been like in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So for everyone watching, you can interact with us live in our chat room on our website. That is at behindthescanner.com. Just go there, click on chat at the top, and log in with your username. You don't need a password. Just go ahead and assign yourself your username, and you can start chatting away with everyone else in the room, as well as our chat host, Daphne. So, Thilanka, something else that's awesome, that you're also a frequent blood donor?
Yeah.
How often do you donate?
Well, I often donate around. I donate every 4 months. I try to do. I mean, if my work permits, that's.
Gotcha.
It's like one of my hobbies.
It's one of your donating blood's one of your hobbies. What's your blood type?
It's O positive.
Is that good? I know nothing about blood types.
Yeah, that's most people in our country has O positive blood type. So
really?
It's not rare that much.
Wow. So anyway, How many anomalies have you participated in? I mean, all in Sri
Anomalies. Okay.
Lanka, or
No. I didn't go out of Sri Lanka yet to play an anomaly yet. And I have participated in 13 Magnus, Recursion, Interitus, Helios, Darsana, Shonin, Persepolis, and Abandon. So eight. Eight,
all of
eight
them?
anomalies. Me and other resistance players, we try our best to contribute in each and every anomaly Niantic held.
Okay, how did you participate?
Mainly through the those global MU
Okay.
points, and I mean for the ones that weren't held in Sri Lanka, there were three connected cells events. So it was fun. Yeah.
Okay, so you have participated on all the anomalies, like with sales, with MUs and things like that. But have you traveled to an anomaly to fight for your clusters and everything?
Yeah.
Which one?
I had to travel a lot around the country for some of the anomalies. In fact, there were many sleepless nights. I mean, like 4 hour sleep nights. During Darsana, it was a whole week, and every checkpoint counted, and a lot of our agents were very uh, very dedicated, and they all helped win the anomaly for resistance.
Okay, that's really cool, and the anomalies are always a matter of no sleeping, a lot of stress, uh, long travels, and well, that's the really cool thing about anomalies. But well, if you give us a minute, I would like to go a little bit to this segment we already all the audience know already from our show, that is Inside the Scanner. Robert, it's now with us. He's from Effect Games, and well, what do you have for us today, Robert?
Good evening. Well, we got a couple of things to talk about. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure, very well.
Okay, good. So we got a new APK this last week, and the only significant feature there was the redo button that appears during glyph hacking. So how that works is it would probably have been better labeled undo, and it works like an undo button. You draw a glyph and you make a mistake, you hit that, it undoes the glyph, and then you can try again to draw it. Although it's important to note that it does not undo the time you spent drawing the glyph. So you still incur a time penalty for having spent that time trying to draw it and failing. But you can tap that to undo as many glyphs as you want. If you want, you can undo all the glyphs you drew, but you still have the time. So that can be really handy when you know how to draw it and you're going really fast and you just, oh, I missed one of the nodes by accident. Well, now you can back up and fix it. And so that's a nice little feature there to have. The other thing that should be noted is that you cannot undo the last glyph, because once you draw the last glyph, the glyph sequence is sent to the server. It's too late to take it back. So make sure you get the last one right in particular, because you can't undo it.
And sorry to interrupt you, but if you use this new feature, it still counts for your badge?
Yes. You can, if you make a mistake, undo it, and then redraw the glyph, and your redone glyph is correct, you can still qualify for getting all the glyphs perfect and therefore getting translator points.
Oh, okay.
So when you undo a glyph, it's like it didn't happen, except for the time that you spent drawing it. So that's nice because you can make a mistake, undo, redraw it, and still have a chance of getting a perfect glyph sequence.
But bye bonus.
No, you'd still get the bonus. The only penalty there is to using the redo button is your time bonus will suffer because you don't get the time that you spent on it back.
Okay.
So it means you have to spend a little extra time. Maybe you'll run out of time on the sequence. But in all other respects, when you hit the redo button, it's like that glyph that you just attempted to draw never happened. And so you can try it again. So yeah, it's still possible to get a perfect glyph sequence, even using the redo button. So that was the only APK change. There were also, on fevgames.net, we recently published 3 year in review articles. One of them talking about the first Saturdays, which of course FevGames runs. One about the year in review in anomalies, and one about the year in review for the Niantic investigation, the lore stuff. There's not a really good way to summarize the lore stuff. I would encourage people to just go onto fevgames.net and read that if you want to have a review of the year of the lore. But the first Saturday and anomaly stuff, I thought I'd give you guys a fun little just summary of what happened in 2015. So for first Saturdays, there were first Saturday events in 353 cities in 57 countries. So first Saturday was a big deal in 2015. And there were a total of 24,688 agents participating. And those agents gained 4,729 levels, walked 58,404 kilometers, and earned 2.9 billion AP. So that's a lot of activity for those first Saturdays. Some of the interesting things about first Saturdays, globally the 2 factions were very evenly matched in the first Saturdays. The Resistance had about 190 more agents attending and earned 43.7 million more AP. That sounds like a lot, but compared to the total of 2.9 billion, the 2 factions were actually very close. And then the Enlightened gained 111 more levels and walked 710 kilometers more. So between the 2 factions, very even, very close. So got a fun little trivia game for you guys. See if you can guess which city hosted the biggest first Saturday event. Any guesses?
I'm gonna narrow it down and say it was probably in Europe.
I will say Japan, Tokyo.
Oh, that's actually a good call, huh? I was gonna say Germany.
He's closer.
I was gonna say somewhere in Germany.
Jorge is closer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the biggest first Saturday event was in Taipei.
Taipei.
Oh, Taipei. How many?
In September, the September first Saturday event night, Taipei had 310 agents attending, and they earned almost 52 million AP.
Oh my God!
So it was huge. The country that earned the most AP per agent was the Philippines. They had an event where they earned almost 224,000 AP per agent. So some very busy agents in first Saturday in the Philippines. And then the most physically active agents, the ones that walked the furthest per agent, was in Guatemala.
No kidding.
Yeah, they walked 5.5 kilometers per agent.
So I got a question, and you may not know the answer to this, Robert, but if you do,
I can look.
I'm curious. Yeah. So do any of these stats, like particularly the amount of AP or even the distance walk, have anything to do with portal density?
Well, in Asia, portals are pretty dense, so that could definitely have helped with the AP. In fact, my brother recently traveled to Hong Kong, and he was astounded by the sheer density of the portals there. It's like you can walk 50 feet without encountering a portal. It comes back to where we live here in Utah, and yeah, there's a fair number of portals here in Salt Lake, but it's not nearly as dense. And so a lot of the Asian cities kind of have that advantage, is they tend to have significantly more portal density. The U.S. had a lot more events than any other country. So in terms of raw numbers rather than per agent numbers, the U.S. was pretty dominant in the stats.
Is there any way to log the length of the first Saturdays?
The length?
Yeah, because I know there was a big variation, like even here in the U.S. Some of them were like, could as little as 2 hours long, and some of them were as long as 6 hours, which could make a huge difference in the number of the amount of AP you get.
Well, I could certainly bring that up with our folks that run the data capture for the first Saturday and see if we could be logging that, because that could come into play. A longer event, you get more AP and more stats. You walk longer and all of that.
Absolutely.
But I don't know that we're collecting that right now. Probably not. But anyway, those are just some of the fun stats that I kind of gleaned from the article. If you want to read up more and particularly see how your city's fared, go to fevgames.net and check out the article there. The other thing that I wanted to mention really quick is the year in review in anomalies. Anomalies this year there were some really interesting things. First of all, we had 3 anomaly series. There was Shonen, Persepolis, and Abaddon, and 63 participating cities. And over the course of those 3 series, there were 153,492 points earned, 18,658 portals captured, 5,616 links created, 1,898 fields created, and 177 shards captured. And as we know, the Resistance won all 3 of those series. But when you start looking into the details of where the points were scored, some really interesting things appear. The Resistance faction's strengths, the areas where they outperformed the Enlightened, were in link and field creation, in cell and global MU, in capturing shards and total points. But the Enlightened actually outperformed the Resistance in portals owned, in volatile portals owned, and in fielding over the clusters.
Oh, wow.
So, people have a tendency to, the Resistance won all 3 series, they're just completely dominating. It's actually not true.
Yeah.
They're edging out the Enlightened. They're not dominating them. And that's an important thing to note, because it's actually very close. It's actually been very close.
It sounds like the Enlightened take kind of a defensive strategy, right? Like kind of hunker down and hold it then, based on what you're saying.
In the past, in anomalies before this year, one of the areas that the Enlightened had kind of been falling behind with the Resistance was in capturing the volatile portals. And seeing as that was one of the big point earners for the anomalies, and still is in fact, volatile portals still constitute the largest chunk of points for both factions. But in 2015, the Enlightened actually outperformed the Resistance in capturing volatile portals. But that wasn't enough, and what was probably the most telling was this most recent anomaly, Abaddon. the Enlightened actually outperformed the Resistance in the raw scores. If Abaddon had been scored the same way as previous anomalies, the Enlightened would have won. But it was scored differently, as we know. It was oriented around capturing the Niantic researchers and earning points for each of those researchers. And because it was scored that way, the Enlightened actually lost by 1 point. And so when you look at these numbers, and you can go into detail, you can go into the details on fevgames.net on the year in review article about the anomalies. When you look into those numbers, you can see that the Enlightened have actually been steadily making some pretty serious ground against the Resistance, and in particular this last anomaly, they would have won if it had been scored the way previous ones had been. So I think the takeaway for both factions, for the Enlightened, is that you're making some ground, but got to pay very close attention to those rules and make sure that you don't just go for raw points and ignore the actual rules that will give you the win. And for the Resistance, probably the big takeaway is don't get cocky, because the Enlightened are gaining on you.
Yeah.
So
that is true. But shh, don't say it out loud.
Yeah, well, being Enlightened myself, I didn't want to give any advice to the Resistance, but I'm here in a neutral capacity, so.
Well,
anyway, so some really interesting stuff. Yeah, some really interesting stuff. By all means, go check out fevgames.net to read the details.
Thank you so much, Robert. This is great. Really, really good facts and amazing facts. It's well, I think I will never stop being amazed of all the capacity that people can bring to a game. Big communities, big events, gathering a lot and a lot of people in the same spot. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, Robert.
And
Sure
well, now it's time for the code of the show. Are you ready, guys? Because here it is. Well, 2 codes for the show tonight. They are redeemable, but maybe for, I don't know, 50 or maybe 200 times. I don't know what are you going to have in these codes, but well, share them, redeem them. Let us know. Maybe you can chat with us and let us know what you got. And well, what do you think about those facts that that Robert just gave us, Frank?
I mean, like I think what you said is true. I mean, myself included, I don't think I'm ever gonna not be amazed by the sheer volume and numbers that people put up when they go to these anomalies. I mean, it's no matter the size of the group, they always outperform what you think they're gonna do. It's just staggering.
Yeah.
That people will, when you challenge them, and I mean, because you're not, at the end of the day, right? It's a game, and you're not. There's no monetary gain. There's no, what you would call maybe traditional motivation. None of that exists, right? This is all just having fun with your friends and playing a game, and they're just the ground they cover, the portals they hit, the everything. It's amazing. The travel. We just saw someone in the chat room going to Japan for their anniversary. I mean, that's crazy. That's awesome. I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Thilanka, what do you think about this? I was to get back to your interview. I was reading a question on our Q&A that somebody is saying that there's a little bit of a problem, or it's not easy to organize between the resistance player in Sri Lanka with the Enlightened. these cross-faction relationships are not so good. So are you having trouble organizing the first Saturday there?
Yeah, there was a little incident regarding the first Saturday that was held in down south. But all the things that are related to game should be in the game itself. I mean, they should not go out of hand. And it was just a minor incident, I think. I mean, related to game. We should not carry those things forward, and we should always try to be cordial with each other and take the game forward, preserve the game so that the other players can enjoy it. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, cross-faction relationships are always
Yeah, it's
tough
Yeah.
at the beginning, but after you start with the tribe, all the two factions trying to do their best, things normally start walking on the right way, and people get really interested in maintaining those cross factions.
Yeah.
So has it all worked out now then? You guys are good to go? Ready to rock?
Yeah, of course. Some of the agents have, they are still, bringing those incidents up, but we have done many events after that, a mission day and some other things, and I think what we should focus on is the players, their eagerness to their what they want, what they have in their guts to show the others and enjoy the game themselves.
Right. So I gotta ask, how much have you worked with the global community, and do you notice any difference there?
I have not worked that much with the global community, but we have some close relationships because Sri Lanka is kind of in the center of the Indian Ocean, so we get a lot of travelers from all around the world, and so we get to transfer a lot of keys and such that, and we do many operations because of the advantageous position that we are in the map.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, geographically, you guys are in a very strategic point, right? I mean, that's kind of makes you guys a hub, I guess, for that part of the world. We're gonna put you guys like at the middle of a trade route, like an ingress trade route. I don't know what we'd call it. We can't call it the Silk Road, but we got to find up some clever name, like for the ingress trade route through Sri Lanka.
Well, what is your favorite aspect of the game? What did you enjoy the most?
That would be meeting people, meeting new people, and talking with them about the game and how they enjoyed the game, how the game changed their lives. I mean, that's what that's what I think one of the favorite aspects of the game.
How does the game change your life?
In a way, I've met some amazing people during the course of this game, and you could say it was like a new adventure. I wouldn't have gone to many places as I have now if I hadn't installed Ingress app, and I would have probably stuck in my home or doing my business. So this game it introduced a lot of amazing people to me, and many of them are still in contact with me, and I'm kind of their leader at the moment. I mean, I don't say that a lot, but they call me their leader.
That's pretty good. So I'm also I'm doing double time right now. Like I'm also in the chat room, hanging out with the folks that are in there, and they're clever. Like it's awesome. They've already come up with a good nickname for Sri Lanka for all the keys that you guys move. From now on to all the Ingress agents of the world, you guys are gonna be known as Key Lanka.
That's a good one.
That was pretty awesome. I gotta scroll back up and looks like, and proper credit to Blades Edge in New Zealand for that one. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You must have a code.
Yeah. So speaking of the chat, right? You can, for everyone watching, don't forget you can jump on there and submit questions and talk with us there. That's behindthescanner.com. Go to the chat section, check us out there. So also, if you're watching via YouTube, you can click on the banner button at the bottom of the video. It says "Be part of the conversation." From there, just click the grid menu icon in the upper right and select Q&A, and you can join us there too. We've got folks that are watching that and sending us questions. So join us. So, Thilanka, a question. What do you think are some of the game's loopholes? Any recommendations on how to fix them?
Yeah, I think one of the major loopholes in the game is this location spoofing. That's what they call it. That needs to be stopped. I mean, I don't know whether if it's technically feasible to stop it. Niantic have taken some measurements to stop the issue, but it's not enough. Some of the players, I mean, we can't just point a finger at someone. I mean, it just ruins the respect that we have for each other. So, I mean, no one should be accused of anything. I mean, sometimes I travel around a lot, and a new player might accuse me of pooping and all that. So that kind of thing should not have happened.
Yeah.
You are playing, you are playing very honest. And in other games that we play, in online games that we pay to play, we can't see things like that happening. So, I think stopping is, we can put some pressure on the players, community pressure, so that the players themselves try to gain the respect of others. That's, I think, one way of handling the issue. If it's not technically feasible, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of along the same lines, right? If you could change anything about the game, what would it be?
Game. Perhaps try to the public com itself. It's we need to have a separate chat in the app itself, I think, so that the players can communicate communicate without any actions in the game itself. So that, I think, can be changed in the app.
You think kind of like a direct message kind of functionality?
A direct, more than that, I think there should be a separate chat window. I think something like maybe in the same radius, people can chat in the same chat window, something like that.
Ah, I see. So like yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that the players can communicate freely.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you describe as a player?
I'm always willing to help the new players, and I like taking on big challenges and always be positive. No matter what the outcome is, you may win the anomaly, you may lose it. There's nobody to blame. We all had fun, something like that. So that's what I am. I mean, I like to take the big challenges.
But okay, but which is your main actions in the game? Like you are like a destroyer, a builder, you are a portal hunter.
Mostly, I was because I was a solo player in my area. I was kind of a builder because I didn't have any portals to destroy. I was also a field planner, a big augmented field, and those were my favorites uh, because I mean, in my area there are only a handful of players to play. So mainly, I would say a builder at first, and then a mega field creator.
Someone,
Currently,
yeah.
currently I hold the most MU gained. I have around 350 million MU
Wow.
from gathering forms.
So somebody is saying that you are Papa's Morph. You are the most respected agent of Sri Lanka. Well, the resistant agent.
Yeah,
Is
don't say
that
that.
is that true? How that makes you feel?
It makes me feel really happy. I mean, I've always tried to uh, uh, bring the game to the players. I mean, so that the players can enjoy it. Whenever I see a portal candidate, I stop my vehicle and take a snap and submit it, because I know someday another player will stop here to drop a resonator and see the environment and enjoy the environment and see the beauty. And that's what I always wanted to do. So that the other players can enjoy this game like I did. That's the only thing I did.
Great.
Yep. Lanka, are you ready for the action? We're going to throw a bunch of user questions at you. These guys are in the chat rooms, and they're eager to throw some questions at you.
Okay.
I'm going to try and filter these as best I can, but no promises. So let's see. First one is from Symphies. He says, or she, I'm not sure. Could you please mention the agent names of your friend who introduced you to the game?
That was one of my good friends. His name is Gavin Prabhasa, and his agent name is Sky Eye.
Well, there you go. Okay. Fev wants to know. Actually, this is a question for all of us, but we'll start with you, of course. What changes would you make to Ingress First Saturday to make it more fun?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
What changes would you make, if any, to Ingress First Saturday to make it more fun?
To make, I think the format that we now have itself is good. I don't think there should be some rules set before the event. Of course, there are rules. There should be a lot of coordination between the leaders of each faction in their country, so that there won't be any miscommunication, and that's what happens. It's the miscommunication that damages the relationships between the factions most of the time. I mean, every player who plays this game, I have not encountered anyone who's bad. I mean, who has bad ideas or anything.
Right.
They're just very humble people.
It's just miscommunications or misunderstandings typically, right? Like no one is maliciously trying to be a jerk or anything. Well, some people are, but not the vast majority. Usually does it with the best of intentions. I would personally probably for first Saturday, I'd probably add like the opposite end of the spectrum of the rewards. I'd probably add some penalties. Like if you came in last place, we'd have like an alligator pit or something. Like some kind of like motivation or like a cage, right? You have to go like in a cage match or something. I don't know. That would add some excitement.
Oh my God.
I wish maybe not a good idea.
I never go to any first Saturday on your area, man.
Yeah, you're right. I might lose some participants pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Let me look through here real quick. We have... Oh, Kluzu says that you're the driving force behind the resistance in Sri Lanka. So you're getting some props in here. Fev has a hard question for you. He says, would you kill 75% of the easy spoofing for the cost of not allowing rooted players?
Sorry, not allowing rooted?
Yeah, like players on rooted devices.
Okay. That's a very hard question.
It is, yeah, totally. He gave us fair warning. He said it was going to be tough.
Yeah, because a lot of the player base is mainly consisted of, I think, Android players, and most Android players are, they have rooted their phones. So we would lost a lot of players. But I think we should experiment a little. Put it into the field and see what happens. I don't know what happens, but that's a good idea. I think if we are to keep this game the way that we want to, we have to maintain the integrity of the game. I mean, the rules have to be same for everyone.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think we have time for a couple more. Let's see. It says here, you made the first level 8 portal in Sri Lanka with only 2 level 8 agents. Whose idea was that, and how did it feel?
We created the first level 8 portal in Sri Lanka. There were only like I was the only LA player back then in Sri Lanka. So me and Klusu Ringer, it was actually, I don't know whose idea was that. I think it was mine. I gathered around 7 viruses from my fellow players, and it was awesome. It was back then we didn't have that 1 hour time constraint. We could just apply the viruses over and over again. So it was done in like 15 minutes. It's awesome.
Let's see. I think we have time for a couple more. So here we go. Let's see. Simfies wants to know if you've ever fought with a spoofer.
Yes, of course. Many a times I have.
You've done battle. Let's see. How do you think the suspension, I think it's from Nuff, how do you think the suspension of new portal submissions has affected gameplay?
I think it has been for the best in some perspective, because we see a lot of junk portals, portals that are not worthy to be in the game. That has stopped, but on the other hand, many portal candidates in rural areas, those are not going to be in the game because of the suspension. So there needs to be some sort of moderation in the submission process and the approval process. I think Niantic is handling that at the moment. They will do something about it in the future.
Yeah. So this is the last question, and it's honestly, I think it's one of my favorites that gets asked, because I think it's true for a lot of agents. Every agent maybe answers it a little bit differently, but I think it's something that everyone experiences, right? So from playing Ingress, what would you say has changed in you as a person? Like, what has made an impact on you and changed you? Whether you've grown or just changed as a, in the way you see the world or people.
Yeah, I have seen. I mean, I've been playing this for like more than 2 years, so I have seen many players come and go. Some of them still stick to the game. Some still opens up their scanner to see what is going on, and whenever whenever I see a new player in the scanner, I always try to greet them and show them the way with the game. What has changed me is that I've always wanted to help people, and this game has provided me a passage to do that, and I am having fun while doing it. That's one of the amazing things that I've encountered in this game.
That that's the magic of this game. It changed us in some ways, and normally positive. But well, I know people that was like curse. But well, okay. This is the time for our BDS tradition. You have 60 seconds to say whatever you want. English related, not related, mention people, whatever. It doesn't matter. Tell us a joke. You have 60 seconds, and they're running now.
Okay. First time I played this game, I was stopped by a police patrol asking where I'm heading, because it was in the night. I had to lie to them because I couldn't tell them I was in the middle of the night looking for XM to fill my XM bar. But now whenever I am stopped by security personnel, I'll either tell them the whole truth, or I say I play a mobile game, because now I know there are a lot of crazy people like me out there. Ingress has changed so many lives. Ingress has brought together many people who wouldn't have met in their lifetime. The Sri Lankan community will continue to grow, and we as a community would like more attention from Niantic. We'd like more anomalies in our country, and we have done some major operations that highlight our country, Resistance and Enlightened both. We held 2 major First Saturdays and a mission day, so I think we deserve more events from Niantic officially. And finally, I'd like to thank all the players in the community for making their contributions to the game. Without them, the game would not be the same. And I also like to thank Gavin Prabhasara for introducing me to this awesome game, and Ravinga Vikramanayaka Kluzu for being my partner in Ingress Ops, and Johan C. and Chatura Chamikar and others for nominating me for this. And thank you guys for doing such an amazing program. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on and doing this with us.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you everyone for watching us. Thank you, Thilanka, for being with us. Robert, thank you. Frank, thank you again. It's amazing to host this show with you.
Always a good time.
It's our second time, right? Like alone.
I think so.
Just,
Yeah.
just Latin flavor on the show. So it's cool. Oh my God, Daphne, you must see her face right now. But well, thank you everyone. Thank you, thank you, and join us next week. Happy hacking.
Happy hacking, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, is this sausage
Oh.
fest?
Oh man, I'm a little soft. I think I had too
Sausage
much of my scotch.
Such
I'm kind
a
of buzz right now.
sausage Latin fest.
Robert, I'm glad you were there to represent the Enlightened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When
We
we were
have
getting
one
ready.
guy.
Oh, we lost our guest. Where is he?
Oh no!
Oh, he jumped off our